The hospital room was sterile and cold. The only sound was the steady, lonely beep of the heart monitor, counting each second of a fading life. Arthur thought, why does the silence feel louder than the machine itself? In the bed lay an old man named Arthur, perfectly still. His eyes were closed, and to the world he looked asleep, or already gone. But he wasn't. He felt the air move. He knew he was still there. Beside him stood his children, Leo and Sarah. They did not hold his hand, they did not cry. Instead, they argued in quiet, urgent whispers. Arthur heard every word as their greedy voices cut through the cold air. Arthur's mind slowly drifted away from the hospital room. He felt the past pulling him back, soft but strong. He remembered the warm smell of sawdust in his small workshop. He remembered tiny hands holding his fingers, trusting him without fear. He remembered teaching Leo to ride a bicycle, running behind him until his back ached. Arthur had believed those moments would last forever. He whispered to himself that those days were real. His thoughts moved to long nights and heavy silence. He remembered working late, his hands rough and cracked from years of labor. He remembered counting money at the kitchen table, tired but hopeful. Every coin was for his children, never for himself. He remembered paying for Sarah's university books, smiling even when his wallet felt empty. He knew he was proud. Even when life was hard, he believed his sacrifices were worth it. A sharp whisper cut through the air and pulled him back to the room. Arthur had given them everything he had. He thought his love was enough to raise good people, but the voices he heard now were different, sharp, fast, and cold. These were not the voices of the children he raised. They sounded like strangers. Strangers who saw him not as a father, but as a bank account about to close. Every whisper about the house and the savings struck his chest like a knife. His fingers twitched beneath the thin blanket. He took a slow breath and held it steady. This was the last control he had in a life slipping away. Tears stayed hidden behind his closed eyes. He felt a deep loneliness, the kind that exists when family stands near, yet feels very far away. The whispers grew louder. Leo shifted beside the bed. Arthur felt his chest tighten before the words even came. "The house should be mine, Sarah," Leo said in a hard, tired voice. "Dad knew my business was failing." Arthur felt the truth cut deep. He knew his son struggled, but hearing it spoken this way hurt more than the illness. Sarah answered quickly, her voice full of heat, "And he promised me his savings for a down payment. You always get everything." Arthur thought of the long years he worked for both of them. His heart sank as their words collided. "This is not how family should sound," he whispered to himself. The argument continued, back and forth like a cold blade. Arthur remembered helping Leo start his business with his last savings. He remembered telling Sarah she could study without fear. Those were gifts of love, not debts to be collected. The room felt smaller. The silence between their words felt cruel. Suddenly, the door opened. A nurse entered for a routine check. Her gentle voice brought a flicker of hope. Instantly, everything changed. Leo stepped back, his face soft with worry. Sarah grabbed Arthur's hand, holding it tightly, tears appearing too quickly. "We're just so worried about him," she said, her voice shaking. Arthur knew this voice. He knew it was not real. He felt his hand grow cold in hers. The nurse smiled kindly, checked the machines and left. The door clicked shut. With that sound, the truth returned. Sarah dropped Arthur's hand as if it burned her skin. Leo's face went flat again. Something inside Arthur broke, slow and quiet. This pain was worse than his illness. The argument returned, louder now. Arthur felt the bed shake as Leo moved closer. Without care, Leo touched Arthur's neck, checking for a pulse, quick and cold. There was no love in that touch. It felt like someone checking a clock. Sarah leaned forward, pushing Arthur's weak hand aside without looking. His arm fell back onto the bed, light and useless. Arthur stayed silent. His breathing remained slow and even. Inside, the last pieces of trust fell away. A line about to be crossed. "I can't wait any longer," Leo said firmly. Arthur heard metal as Leo opened his briefcase. A single sheet of paper appeared. A clean, legal document. A new will. Cold shock washed over Arthur. This was no longer about money. This was about stealing his voice. We just need his fingerprint, Leo said calmly. Arthur felt his finger lifted. Ink touched his skin. The paper waited. Beep, beep, beep. Stop. The word was weak but clear. Arthur opened his eyes. Fear replaced greed on their faces. I heard everything, Arthur said softly. Every whisper. He paused. My lawyer visited me last week. The room froze. I signed a new will, a real one. The house, the savings, everything. It will all be donated to the city orphanage, Arthur said. To children who have nothing. Not to children who have everything, but appreciate nothing. The fake will slipped from Leo's hand. Sarah's shoulders shook in silent shame. Arthur felt peace, his final words. My real inheritance, Arthur whispered, was never my house or my money. He took a slow breath. It was supposed to be the two of you. A single tear fell. Arthur closed his eyes gently. For the first time in a long time, he felt peace. The lesson left behind. Arthur learned this lesson too late. You don't have to. True wealth is not what you own. It is who stands beside you when everything else is quiet.